All right, next up we have Christine Laikind, who will be talking about accessibility and how that relates to SEO. And accessibility is super important, but I was looking forward to this talk personally because it's coming from someone who is deaf, and it very much affects you and how you handle interacting with websites. So Christine Laikind, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me just say a few things before we begin. I am deaf, as he mentioned, and I lip read. I wear a hearing aid, so you understand how I seem to move around and seem normal. But and if you could, let me go through my presentation and refrain from asking questions until the end of the presentation. And I have someone here who will repeat your question to me, because I'm depending on lip reading. So please bear with me afterwards, and I will do my best to answer all your questions to the best of my ability. And I want to say thank you so much for having me here. I am thrilled and honored to be here. So let me begin here. And I forgot my remote. So let's see if I can go forward. That's the other way. Not going forward. Okay. How many of you have heard the term web accessibility? Please raise your hand. Okay. So you have an idea what it means. Basically meaning making the web accessible to everyone, including people who have some form of disability. And you will probably hear me say some form of disability. And what I mean by that is, it doesn't really mean me, who a person that has a disability. My disability came from birth. And I say some form because every one of us in this room may have some form of disability, one way or another. So that's why I put it this way, making the website inclusive and accessible for everyone, including those that have a disability. So at this point, why is it important? You're probably going to be hearing a lot about web accessibility right now, for a while, I hope. And at this point, I want to point out a few things about it. In our US population, we have a population of 25% of the US population. I'll put the estimate right down here. 301 million people, adults in the US, have some form of disability. And if we take 52 million, I'm sorry, 52 million adults that have some form of disability. And half of that population are people that are 65 years old and older. So that is 25% of the adults that you may be leaving behind. And before I go further, how many of you are web designers? Okay. How many are business owners, digital marketing agencies? How many of you have e-commerce websites? Okay. So if you're not removing the obstacles, the barriers on your website, that's the money that you're leaving behind. That part of the population right there, 25%. That's 52 million people that you may be ignoring, leaving money on the table. And point number 2, ADA lawsuits are going up. And it's not just large companies anymore. It's affecting small businesses now. There was a recent e-commerce business, Bags and Beans, that was sued for having an inaccessible website. Another one was a recent one. It was a small online job website. It was sued because the online job application was inaccessible. So that's what's happening now. The lawsuits for having inaccessible websites are going up on an average about 30% every year, is what they're seeing. And the last point is, it's the right thing to do. So it means that we want to make sure that we have a website that provides access to everyone, meaning for people that are coming to the country, immigrants, people learning English, as well as people who have disabilities, as well as our Asian population. They have every right to be able to have access to the website, consume, and get information to your website. And I want to address some of the myths when it comes to making your website accessible. And one of them is that it costs too much, right here, to make the website accessible. And the other one is there's no benefit or return on investment to make a website accessible. And the last one I hear is it will interfere with the functionality or the design to make my website look beautiful if I have to make my website accessible. Those are the big three myths that I hear when I try to talk about web accessibility. And at this point, I would say, no, those myths are not real. The reality is that there's no extra cost to make a website accessible. My argument is that the more we learn about web accessibility, is that if we begin with an inclusive mindset, we can begin the process in the beginning rather than an afterthought, then it doesn't really mean an extra cost. It's actually a learning process that you have to go through. And once you learn how, what changes that you have to make, and understanding the web accessibility rules and guidelines, it really begins at the beginning of the website design process. And once you do it from there, you realize it's really not a cost to it. It's the process in the beginning of the stages, maybe a little bit extra time in the design process. That's all it is. And the second part is there is a benefit. There is a big return on investment when you make a website accessible, which is increased rankings. You get the new demographics that you're missing out on, who will spend money on your website once you make them accessible, and then the additional revenue from an optimized website. When you follow the guidelines, believe it or not, with a website that's accessible, you actually are improving your website by improving user experience. And when you have a website with a better user experience, you get an optimized website, and that brings better ROI, and that brings more consumers to the website, and that brings more revenue to the website. So there's your return on your investment on that. And the optimized website, my last point, is actually a well-designed website with a good user experience. So I just bash the myth right there. Okay. I go forward. And my mouse is, there we go. Okay, back. Websites that take web accessibility seriously consistently rank higher than the competition in Google and YouTube. Why? Because search engine optimization, best practices, and following the web content accessibility guidelines actually overlap. Now, if you go to, when we get to the link, when you go to the WCAG, the Web Content Accessibility Guideline. Now, how many of you have ever been to that page, the Web Content Accessibility Guideline page? You've been there. I mean, there's a lot, okay? You have to read through it. But when you point and read through it, and how many of you are into search engine optimization? How many of you do search engine optimization? How many of you have a good idea of what the best practices are in search engine optimization? Okay. We'll get there. The light bulb will go off your head, I hope, when we go through this. You'll see some of the guidelines and the search engine optimization, the implementation, there will be an overlap. And you will see how that will lead to that, I hope. I wish I had my mouse. Okay. To understand the web accessibility, we need to first understand what assistive technologies are used by those that have a disability. Okay? Now, we have people who have visual impairment, colorblind, and then blind. And then we have the keyboard for those that cannot use the mouse. And then we have a joystick. Then we also have a push stick. Those are the people who are paralyzed. They actually put a little magnetic dot on their forehead, and they put a push stick around their mouth. And with the dot stick on their forehead, they move their head around on the monitor, and that magnetic device points wherever it is on that monitor. And then with the push, it actually acts like a click, okay? And that's how they move around and be able to engage onto the computer screen. And then the screen reader is for the visually impaired, the blind. And then the captioning and transcript is for someone like me, who is unable to hear, to be able to see what is actually being said, okay? And then lastly, how you design the website has an effect on web accessibility as well. All right, so I'm going to repeat, okay? Web accessibility means that people with disabilities can use the web. And I want to make it clarify that how they experience the web doesn't necessarily mean they experience it the same way. I want to say you people, but I can't, okay? We experience the web a little bit differently than everybody else, okay? Keep in mind that we have the right to consume and engage with the content just as much as everybody else does. But the way we experience it, I want to say, don't worry too much about that. Just keep in mind that we're there to get the information or to get the content that you put out there, okay? And when you're designing a website and understanding the assistive technology that's there, the screen reader, the keyboard, the captioning and the transcript, and the keyboard, to be mindful of that and knowing how that allows us to obtain or engage or retrieve the content. That's why that really matters for you when you're trying to make sure that the website is accessible, okay? That's how we experience the content, so to speak, okay? It may not be the same way you do, but at least our way of experiencing or engaging with the content, okay? Okay, so we all know in the World Wide Web, content is king in both accessibility and SEO. It's true, content is king in both worlds, in SEO and for accessibility. And then SEO and user experience equals success. Because we know that we want to have good user experience on our website, and SEO, we also need to make sure that the combination of the two will get us both high up in search engine ranking. And web accessibility and good user experience also means success as well. Because at the same time, even for those even people that have disability and you, we both want to have good experience when we come to a website, correct? Yes. So it's the same way. And the same thing applies for search engine optimization. We know that Google gives good preference to websites that provide good user experience, and Google gives search engine ranking preferences to websites that download faster. Same thing for mobile applications. So user experience is important, just as for search engine optimization. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let's count the ways. Search engine best practices and web accessibility, the close alignment. As I was trying to explain earlier, SEO, user experience, the rankings and preferences are given to good user experience, content, search engine are given to the preferences. So web accessibility is the same way. So if we're looking at this way right here, mobile friendly. And the world of search engine optimization, we know that Google and Bing give preferences to websites that have mobile friendly. This applies to web accessibility. So at this point, I could start on Twitter right now. Someone just announced, I'm going to show the website in a minute. They just released a website that was built with Gutenberg right now. They just released it, nib.org. And this website was built completely with Gutenberg Black. And it's mobile friendly. And what makes it mobile friendly is that it downloads fast. And if you were to look it up on your smartphone, nib.org, and not only is it download fast, and I'm going to show you right here, it's got a menu. If I were to click on the menu, if the bars across the menu, you should be able to access it very quickly with the finger or your thumb, and there's enough space. Okay, that's what makes it mobile friendly. Okay, the tabs download quickly, and even if it's someone who's trembling or shaking, is able to move around, and that makes it mobile friendly. And then down below, it's well organized. The buttons are also big enough for the same reason, if you look at it. Now, what's surprising to me is that this is a website for a blind association. Now, for a colorblind person, there is a red button behind a blue background. That a person that is colorblind with struggling with the blue and violet, this might be in question here. So that's not quite accessible. So what I did was I ran a little test. I'm going to escape here for a minute. But let me, if I can find that test. Where did it go? There it is. I ran a test on the accessibility. It scored 98. It scored pretty high. It has a logical tab order, interactive controls, user focus, and then off-screen headings don't skip levels. So it doesn't say anything about being, the color not being wrong or anything on here. I usually run a test when someone says they made a perfectly perfect accessible website. But at this point, Google doesn't, the development tool that I use on here doesn't say anything in it. But it scored 98. So that's the only thing that I question at this point is about that red button. All right, here we go. Let me go back to where I was. Okay. Okay, there we go. Somehow I skipped some slides. Yeah, okay. The web accessibility can keep your SEO by keeping your website interface cleaner, easier to navigate, bounce rates. Yeah, it did. So I'm going to keep going. So we talked about mobile friendly, and then using proper alternative text for images, easy to use navigation, providing descriptive link text, ensuring page titles are descriptive, providing transcript and caption, and then use a link. So I wanted to mention this website that was just announced on Twitter because they said it was built by Gutenberg. And for those who have been following WordPress, there was an issue about Gutenberg not being accessible, because that was quite the announcement. And I was impressed about how fast it was downloaded. And the colors and the contrast were right, except when I saw that red button against that blue background, that kind of threw me for a loop. But 98, yeah, that's pretty good, so I was happy with that. Mobile friendly, so I mentioned about easy use navigation, the buttons, the links, and the size, screen and font size. So the same website that we were just at, used to be able to pull up, zoom in and out. That's another feature. You need to be able to see in and out, see larger font. The people that need to be able to read larger type, and that's very important, including for websites as well. They should be able to zoom in and out easily. And I have a link on the website where HubSpot listed about 20 websites that were good mobile website examples, and we're going to go through some more. So Shutterfly, Evernote, and Zappos. Now Zappos is an e-commerce website, which is a really good, accessible website. A lot of people who are visually impaired, a lot of the lawsuits that are out there right now are against e-commerce websites. It is the biggest frustration for them being able to shop online because they're not accessible. And the biggest barrier is usually not labeling the alt tags, not using the titles properly, and when it comes to checkout, it's difficult with the button. So those are the big three reasons why the e-commerce websites are difficult for people who are blind to go shopping on. So if you want to look at some mobile-friendly websites, I put the big three on there: Evernote, Shutterfly, and then the Zappos. And proper titles and description. Now this is where we talk about H1, H2, H3, and description. This is very important in the way we design and organize the content of our websites. Please do not abuse or use it wrong. This again comes to how the screen reader reads the website. And then use the button for button, and use the anchor for anchor. Don't use the button for anything else but button, and don't use the anchor for anything else but anchors. In H1, H2, H3, again, use them correctly. Think of it like the table of contents in the index. And the screen reader reads them that way, and the tabs behave that way when it comes to using the keyboard. When you use them wrong, that's how the screen reader is going to read the website to a blind person. And the tabs will behave accordingly if you use them wrong as well. And here is a screenshot of a couple of examples where the H1, H4, H2, H3 is incorrect. See the H1 up at the top? And then the H4 is supposedly a heading. And then the H2 is a subheading. And then the H3 is another heading. Okay, so if a visually blind person is trying to understand your website, and the screen reader is reading it, it's going to become very frustrated trying to understand the website. Same thing for the next one down below. You got a heading, and then you got a subheading, and then you got a section, heading, section. Extremely annoying. Please do what you see down below. You got a heading, and then you got another, name of the website, and then you got another heading, which is a subheading, and then a heading, which is fine. Or you can go main heading or subheading. The main heading can be 1, the subheading can be heading 2, and then use your another subheading as 2 is 3, and then another small, maybe a quote for is 4. But understand that by the order you use it is how the screen reader is going to read it. And if you have one long page, and you have 2 main headers, it's going to go in that order. So you've got H1, H2, H3, H4. It's going to go, then it'll go to the H1, and then H2, H3, H4, and then it's going to follow that order. It's not going to jump from H1 to the next H1. It's just going to follow. Like I said earlier, think of it as your table of content, and that's how it's going to go. Okay. Let's go to 17. Alt tags. This is the biggest one that I hear about is alt tags, which is good for SEO purposes. Use alt tags for all of your images and improve your accessibility and user experience. Alt tags will also provide greater relevance to your search engine. Now let me go back to the H1, H2. Now for search engine optimization, you know that crawlers, if you use keywords in those, will pull on that. Same thing for your titles. So if you got your keywords in there, that's what the search engine will pull and find your website from. So keep that in mind. And the alt tags is the same thing. If you put alt tags in your images, the search engine crawlers will provide that in there. And a bad habit to be uploading images as image00.jpg. I used to teach as an adjunct professor at a private art college. I was a stickler telling my students, please don't upload your images as image0001.jpg. It is lazy. Please give it a name. Okay? Especially, you never know, down the road, you might be putting on your portfolio website. So if you took a picture of downtown Greenville, please call that picture downtown Greenville.jpg. Okay? That's fine. But at least when the screen reader comes across it, it will say downtown Greenville. That's fine. So please, get into a good habit of labeling your pictures right from the get-go. Okay, and 19. Okay, now, for accessibility, it's important because, as I mentioned, screen readers read it. And if you don't have any description in there, and it's blank, or if it's called image 001, can you imagine how a blind person would feel reading a line, a bit of a website to him or her, and everything comes across the image and it goes, image 01, JPEG. They're going to be bummed. So, all it takes is just a little extra time just to name it. And then for search engine, if you can put a keyword in there, like a picture of downtown Greenville, and you're talking about downtown Greenville on a website, and someone's searching downtown Greenville, and that is in there, that picture and that word, your website's going to be pulled up in there. So it works both ways, for search engine and for accessibility. Now, good alt tag. Describe the picture specifically as possible. Now, the question I get asked a lot is, well, how descriptive do we need to get? Well, we don't want to get too crazy. We have a limit. We only have up to about 120 characters, really. But we want to be specific as possible, but we also at the same time, since we want to get search engine optimization, we want to be able to put some keywords in there as well. But we don't want to put keyword. But we have to balance it out with, okay, with being mindful of person who can't see, being able to describe what the picture is about with some keywords in there, if we can get them in there. So that's what we're trying to achieve here. Here's an example, okay? A rooster, okay? This is the okay one. There's one that says rooster, that's fine. And then there's the better one, rooster crowing. He's crowing, right? And then there's the better one, a red crested rooster crowing. If you know what that is, if you know that's the red crested rooster, you can, remember, we have 120 characters. If we can get a little bit more specific, the better it is. But there's the better one, if there's rooster crowing, that's fine. But again, we don't want to get carried away. So I think this is sufficient. And there's another one, of e-commerce, food shopping. Okay, I try to figure out, okay, what are the biggest challenges that e-commerce website had? What kind of information do they put in there? I found one from Dorito. You can see the alt tag on there. And it's pretty long, but it does quite a bit. It says Dorito, tortilla chips, nacho cheese, 1 point, how big it is, large single serve bag, pack 64. That's pretty specific, right to the point, and they know exactly what it is when the screen reader comes across it. It's enough. Okay? It's not saying it's a red bag, it's not saying it's a picture, it's just saying it's a Dorito tortilla chip, big, a large bag, the pack is 64. That's fine. So, but it's also reading these things. It's going to say Dorito, tortilla chips, nacho cheese. It's going to say that title. It's going to say what that image is. It's going to read these things. And by the way, they like bullets. So it's going to say about the product. And it's going to say bullet, pack of 64. Next top bullet, tortilla chip. Next bullet, made, whole corn, yada, yada. So that's how the screen reader is going to read. And then the next one is video and audio files. My biggest peeve for someone like me, I try not to get too animated about this. Provide, please, caption for your YouTube video, for any videos that you have. If you're going to upload a video, please caption them or provide a transcript. If you're going to upload an audio file, please provide a transcript for those. What I'm seeing lately with podcasts to provide a little summary or just a bullet point of what's being discussed in there. I love you dearly, but those summary and the bullet point do not benefit me at all. I wish I could say that, but it doesn't. If we could provide the whole transcript of the entire conversation, I would love it. My argument is by having the whole transcript there would make a website found and search engine, because it will contain all these wonderful keywords that are in there. Okay, so not only benefits the deaf, it will also benefit people that have temporary or situational disability. An example of that would be, let's pretend you're maybe on a bus, airplane, or in a train, and you forgot your, what do you call them, earbuds. And you came across a podcast that you really want to listen to, or video. What are you going to do? You might go, bummer. But if it was captioned, or if it was transcribed, that would make a day, wouldn't it? That would be a situational. disability. There's a link to my website. You can download my PowerPoint presentation. If you were to click on the link, it will link you directly to that rule. So you would know what you would need to do to make the website accessible. And so you can see how by using the web content accessibility guidelines and SEO best practices, which I just reviewed. The SEO best practices is making your website mobile friendly using proper alternative text, easy to use navigation, descriptive text, proper use of title, proper use of alt text, and then captioning and transcribing the video and audio file. Both of them will help boost your search engine ranking of your website or your podcast site. And they all have links to the website content accessibility guidelines. And I can mention a little bit about me at the end. At the end of my link to the website, there's a backslash. If you go to my events tab, you'll see the link to the PowerPoint website. Link to my PowerPoint. You can download it and click on the link. It will take you to the website content guidelines. You can put those into best practices your website to go up, and at the same time to provide a website accessibility for people to another question? That's this question.
So for videos, when you build in captions to the video, and you're not adding the captions afterwards, say through the platform, how does that affect, like for example, if we create a video and we do the captions while we're creating the content, rather than doing it on YouTube or on the platform, how does that affect
the caption in the YouTube? How does it affect the...
Like if we're doing it in the video editing versus on YouTube. So they're still there, but it's not done through the platform. It's done while it's being created.
Right. Yeah, I'm not good.
Now here, let me help you. Sorry.
Yeah. My husband knows me better.
So what she's saying is that when you caption it while they're doing the video.
Right.
And then when they go to YouTube, it's double, if they turn on captioning, it's double captioning, or it's not recognizing the fact that they've already done the captioning.
Those are two, I see that.
So is it better for them to do the caption on YouTube's platform, or to do it in the video itself? That's the question.
Gotcha. Okay.
No problem, sorry.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no. Okay, I see what you're saying. What YouTube does, when you turn on the YouTube captioning, it creates an automatic transcript for them. And unfortunately, that's why I tell people, because of that, it won't transcript that is generated at the bottom, that is what is being used for the lack of better description and optimization. That's what we tell people go in and upload your own, okay? Even though the government makes studies on that, so either use correct YouTube captions, okay? So that it's using that, or just delete it and then turn off YouTube captioning, upload your captioning. If you like the look of your captioning, and then put in the summary description, normally the title and then the back. We put in the description, put your transcript there, so it shows up in the search engine. You know what I'm talking about?
So put my transcript in the description.
Yes. Your transcript in the description.
That will increase the SEO of the.
And so that'll help her increase SEO?
Yes.
By putting the transcript of the video
Yeah, okay. If you don't want to use, if you want to use your own captioning script, if you don't want to use YouTube captioning, so you're going to have that double captioning, turn off YouTube. Put your captioning on there, okay? Then put your transcript in the summary, the title and the summary, so that you can run your own captioning, because what's happening is your own captioning won't be transcribed. So if you want to get that search engine, put your summary in there. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel about the alt text description being the same as the file name?
Same as the file name.
So how do you feel about the alt text description being the same as the file?
Same as the file name, meaning
Your image is downtown Greenville.jpg, and your alt text is downtown Greenville.
that, well, it almost be a step, that's when you have to be, expect it to be a little better than that, okay? So if your website is downtowngreenville.org, okay, or .com, your image on Portland, that would be better than, the picture of, I might make something up, Clemson University in downtown Greenville, right? And then another one is a picture of, what was the name of the coffee shop that we were going to? Methodical coffee shop in downtown Greenville. You know what I mean? Because we're trying to illustrate the word downtown Greenville, perhaps, but we're naming what the image is for people for the part of downtown Greenville. That's like that.
I'm editing a course right now that has a lot of portraits, and the name of the portrait is the same as the name of the file.
Okay. So in the case of like portrait, I do the same. Keep in mind when the screen reader comes back, I think that like you come to a back page. So we have a name of a person, right? So like Kathy Brewing, and then the picture of Kathy Brewing. Okay. In this case, the screen reader can read the name of the person, Kathy Brewing. The picture you're going to say is a woman, wearing the black glasses. At least you're going to give a visual to the person who can't see what Kathy Brewing looks like. You're not going to say Kathy Brewing wearing the red glasses. You're going to try to describe what Kathy Brewing might look like. Because it's going to read that name of that person. Does that help?
Thank you.
Okay. So that's how if we're trying to figure out, well, this person, that person, how do